Hello there again. This time I have something pretty powerful I want to show you. This looks pretty scary, and it took me a tremendous amount of time to put together. This is something you can go look on the website and you can study it. It's something that really does need to be studied. You can see I've called it the essence of Chabad House metrics. Now, what the essence of the idea is that Chabad has needs, and then people that are coming to Chabad have their personal journey. And as one of our Balabatim taught us, the more that people's personal journey overlap with Chabad's needs, the happier everybody's going to be. Now, I've basically defined two areas that Chabad has needs and two areas that people have needs, their personal journeys, okay? Now, the Chabad needs are basically money and events and programs. Money is obvious. We need money to do to support the work that we do. And then you have events and programs. Now, people that come to events, in order for us to be successful, we need to have people at our events. And so even if someone doesn't give money, but the fact that they fill up a seat, and the fact, obviously you have people that might be worth not having around, but the fact that people come, that adds value to Chabad besides for the money. Now, there's also the services that we offer to people. Now, you can see over here that what the services include the counseling and the crisis and the advocacy. And then there's also spiritual services. We have all the different mitzvahs and the mitzvahs we do with people, learning Torah with people. And then we have activities. Now, the difference between activities, as far as I'm concerned, activities and services, is that activities are places that services happen. So if I had a meeting with a person, so in that meeting I may have counseled him and put on tefillin with him and learned Torah with him, and those are all services that happened inside of a meeting. I could have done a few of those things over the phone also. I could have learned Torah with him and counseled him over the phone. Now, I also have something called a case. A case is something that it's a service, but it's a service that gets opened and closed. So when someone loses a loved one, or when someone loses a job, or when someone's in the hospital, so that's the kind of thing. It's a service. You may go visit them in the hospital, and that's an activity. And in the hospital, you might put on tefillin with them, but you want some way to keep the cases separate. And if you noticed on my dashboard in one of the previous tutorials, I have every open case on my dashboard because unfortunately there was a woman whose mother passed away, and we kind of left her hanging. I was not there for her, so ever since then I created these cases so that until I close the case, that now the shloshim is over, or now that the high crisis is over, now I can take her out of that list, but it's something that I have to manually take her out. So another very important thing, a distinction, is between activities and events. People ask, well, what do I call, and what's the difference between an event and an activity? If I had a meeting with 5 people and we learned Torah together, is that an activity or is that an event? And so the answer is, if you can read this on the bottom and go to that other page also, because I really defined everything here. But as far as I'm concerned, the difference between an event and an activity is whether you need people there. So, for example, I just gave a shiur today, and I started a new crash course on basic Judaism. So whenever I start a new class, I want people to be there. I want the seats to be filled up. If I don't have people, then I look like a failure. And the same thing, my Hebrew school, and you can see over here I've added You have the seasonal programs, which are the high holidays and the Seders and the Purim, Shavuos, all these things, JLI. And then you have the regular things. You have your Shabbos services. You have your, I call it Cake and Kabbalah, give this year, your preschool, Hebrew school, Friday nights. These are all things that, these are all events. If you don't have people there, then it's a failure. Now you might have something else. You may have a shear with 5 people. You don't really care if they come or not. You're learning with a few people, and that I would call an activity. So one shear may be an event, and another shear may be an activity. So I started this big, basics of Judaism, but by the time the 4-week course is over, people were saying, you know what, Rabbi, we really want to continue. We want to continue studying every week. So I said, okay, you know what, we'll continue. And then the 20 people that came turned into 10 people and 5 people, and that goes until we decide to make another event that will draw more people, and then that event will turn into an activity until again we turn it into another event. So what this map is doing, if you understand the map, then you'll be able to compartmentalize all of the different functionalities that the CRM has, the Chabad suite has, and you'll be able to use it much more effectively.